for sentimental reasons. I hope you do believe me. I've given you my heart. Sunday afternoon, really couldn't get away too soon. I can't imagine anything that's better. The world is ours whenever we're together. There ain't a place I like to be instead of moving down a crowded avenue to anything we like to do. There's always lots of things that we can see. We can be anyone we like to be. All those happy people we could meet just moving on a Sunday afternoon. Really couldn't get away too soon. No, 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 no. We'll keep on spending sunny days this way. We're gonna talk and laugh our time away. I feel it coming closer day by day. Life would be ecstasy, you and me endlessly moving on a Sunday afternoon. Really couldn't get away too soon. No, 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 no.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy, you call me up and ask me would I like to go with you and see a movie. First I say no, I got some plans for tonight, and then I stop and say alright. Love is kinda crazy with a spooky little boy like you. You always keep me guessing, I never seem to know what you are thinking. And if a girl looks at you, it's for sure your little eye will be a winking. I get confused, I never know where I stand. And then you smile and hold my hand. Love is kinda crazy with a spooky little boy like you. Spooky. If you decide someday to stop this little game that you are playing, I'm gonna tell you all the things just like a ghost. You've been a haunting my dreams, but now I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if you could please kindly turn off or silence all cell phones or electronic devices. Thank you.
Kirachem av al banim, richam Adonai al yereav. As a parent has compassion for children, so God has compassion for us. God understands how we are fashioned, remembers that we are but dust. And yet, God's compassion is everlasting, and God's kindness to children's children endures age after age, unchanging. We always begin this service with Psalms, the oldest prayers that we have, going back to the time of the Bible itself. And in that way, we're going to link Jim's life to 3,000 years of Jewish tradition, to the people Israel, and to the eternity of God. Shir Lamalot. Sinai, El Harim, Me'ayin Ya'avo Ezri. Sinai, El Harim, Me'ayin Ya'avo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz, ayiten lamot raglecha, ayanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzecha v'echa, me'ata v'yad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? The psalm begins with those questions, and the rest of the psalm offers answer. The source of my help is the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. He will not let you falter. Your guardian does not slumber. Surely the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. He's at your right hand to protect you. The Lord, your keeper, gives shelter. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. The Lord will preserve your soul. He will guard your going and coming from this time forth and forever. Mizmor LeDavid, another of the Psalms of David. Adonai ro'i lo echsar binot desha yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenahaleni, nafshi yeshovev. Yancheni v'ma'aglei tzedek lema'an shemo, gam ki elech begetz ha'mavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Shiftecha mishantecha heme anachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan neged zorarai dishanta v'Hashem l'roshi, kosi devaya, ach tova chesed yerdafuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. Those are the Hebrew words of a psalm that we know so well from settings such as this, Psalm 23. We sometimes call it the Shepherd's Psalm, and many of you will know it from memory. Recite with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This past Shabbat in the synagogue, we announced the coming of the Hebrew month Elul. That's the month before Rosh Hashanah, the new year. And during this month, we sound the shofar every day to remind us to engage in cheshbon hanefesh, literally taking account of our lives. That's what we do at a time such as this as well. We take account of a person's life, what it's meant to family, to friends, to community. And who better to begin that than children? So today we're going to hear from Katrina and then from Natasha, and they of course will be speaking for Adam and Ariel and Caroline, and Adam and Ben and their mom as well. Katrina?
Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's very weird to be looking at you all right now. What do you wear to your dad's death? This was a question I asked myself on Friday night after I left the hospital. My next thought was about how surreal this entire experience is. We've known for a long time that our dad was sick, but you can never prepare for the process of death. I'm grateful that he did not suffer, and for the kind and compassionate hospital staff who took care of him. And I'm blessed to have my family present to bear witness to his passing and to hold one another up. Jim, Dad, was complicated. He was someone with plenty of troubles and flaws, like many of us sitting here today. But he was also kind and funny and charismatic. And he could charm any stranger. He enjoyed spending time with his friends, watching football and smoking cigars and telling jokes. Before his 4 children were running around and taking up his time, he was incredibly adventurous. My parents would spend every weekend out backpacking and kayaking and camping and even ice climbing, even though my mom hated the cold. But even more than the adventure, he definitely loved the outdoor gear. He lived to captivate a room with a good story. Most of the time, it was the same 10 stories he always told. Maybe about how he once lived on a Blackfoot reservation, or how him and my mom got lost on the Seven Devils Trail, or how he told me he met Aretha Franklin, which I think was a lie. He definitely inspired my taste in music, my love of adventure, and my desire to be the center of attention. He loved and raised his children the best way he knew how, and I know he loved us deeply. He loved us so much that he attempted to expand our palates by bribing us to eat different foods. The most memorable being when he offered Tasha $5 to try wasabi and it got stuck in her expander. She immediately started crying. He promptly offered her $20 and said, "Don't tell Mom." He adored animals and always loved having dogs, which is probably partly why we always seem to have at least 4 at a time. He even asked if our 120-pound Doberman could come to the hospital and be his emotional support dog. There are a lot of things I wish I could have said to my dad. He won't live to see me graduate residency and become a surgeon, which is something he predicted. He won't be at my wedding. He won't see my grandchildren. But more often in life, you don't get to say everything that you needed to say. You regret not saying I love you more often, or telling people how you truly feel. He would be overwhelmed with joy seeing you all here today. I encourage you all to hug a little tighter, remember to say I love you, and to spend as much time as possible with the people you love. I love you, Dad, and I'll miss you every day. Thank you all for coming.
Natasha.
My dad loved a captive audience and would have loved seeing all of you here for him. My dad loved many things in life: his kids, his job, his dogs, his guitars, his cowboy hats, and the list goes on. But everyone who knew my dad knew that the thing he loved most in this world was my mom. My parents met in the fall of 1988. My dad was recently divorced and living in Boston. One of his coworkers convinced him to put a dating ad in Boston Magazine, and he did. A few weeks later, somewhere in Somerville, my mom's girlfriends convinced her to answer it. My dad carried a clipping of that ad in his wallet ever since then. On their first date, my dad showed up wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, and my mom thought to herself, "Yep, that's my man." From that point on, they were pretty much inseparable. They spent almost every weekend traveling along the East Coast, hiking, biking, sailing, or skiing. Many of those weekends were also spent doing all of those things with my brother Ben. My dad was always behind a camera, and so much of this time was well documented, which we are all so grateful for. If you look at the pictures we've brought to share with you today, you'll find a pretty accurate picture of who my dad was. He loved to be outdoors, smoking a cigar, spending time with his friends, laughing, and above all else, being with my mom. As a dad, he was goofy and stern, yet somehow always incredibly warm when you needed him to be. He loved to pick us up by the ears or tickle us until we cried. He put on Passover puppet shows that left us belly laughing. He would always tell the people at Benihana that it was one of our birthdays so we could get a family picture. He loved to dance and play guitar. He loved Taco Bell and breakfast for dinner. He said the Shema with us every night and loved family Shabbat. He loved to watch stand-up comedy, true crime, and Shrek. In fact, he loved Shrek so much that I once found him dancing to the Smash Mouth album alone in the basement. He was so proud to be our dad and made sure the world knew about his kids' accomplishments. When I graduated from law school, he called every obscure friend and estranged family member who would pick up the phone. Then for the next couple weeks, I received a slew of texts that read something like, "Cousin Paul wishes you the best," or "My friend Danny says congratulations." I, of course, have never met any of those people. My dad always marched to the beat of his own drummer. He truly never cared what other people thought of him. He often wore his cowboy boots and cowboy hat to dinner, or told the same stories over and over again, or got the spiciest dish on the menu and sweat profusely through the whole meal. If one of his jokes flopped, he would without fail follow it up with, "I don't care who you are, that was funny." Usually in a New York accent, which made no sense because he was from Detroit. He bought suede fringe jackets and drank blueberry coffee every day. He did all of those things unapologetically. It's hard to boil down all the things we love about our dad in a few sentences, but as proud as he was to be our dad, we were equally as proud to be his kids. From the time I was little and still to this day, our neighbor calls me Little Jim. It was something I pretended to hate when I was a kid, but secretly loved as my own little connection to my dad. So, Dad, here are just a few things that I love about me, that I got from you. The things that made me Little Jim. My curly hair and olive skin, my long eyelashes, and deep brown eyes. My sense of humor and knack for storytelling, my love of dancing and laughter, my expensive taste and my love of shopping, my love of gaudy gold jewelry, and last but certainly not least, my passion for all things social justice and unwavering belief in the betterment of the world. I love these things a little extra because they're yours. In the last year of his life, my dad found so much joy in being a grandpa to our sweet baby Violet. He also found so much pride in watching Adam become a husband and a father. Violet didn't get enough time with him, but in the time that she did have, she really, really adored her grandpa, and he really, really adored his Violet. We find joy in the fact that she got to experience his tickle monster, and we will continue to share that with her as she grows and asks questions about her grandpa. Dad, we will never stop sharing our favorite stories of you. We will keep the house covered in our favorite pictures of you and keep your memory alive and well. So I will leave you all with my dad's two self-proclaimed family mottos. The first being, "We never pay retail," and the second being, "You can't fix stupid." Both sentiments that ring true today, and just a piece of my dad to carry with you. We miss you already, Dad, but I do know that you're on the other side, sitting in a rocking chair, overlooking the water, a cigar in one hand and a glass of whiskey in the other, listening to the blues and telling stories about your life to all your new friends up there. I love you so much. Love your Tashi Poo.
Thank you for those lovely words about your dad, full of insight and warmth and love. It's a beautiful account of his life, Cheshbon HaNefesh. I knew Jim for all the years that he was active at Temple Beth Shalom, through all of the Bnot Mitzvah and the Bar Mitzvah, through the involvement in the school board and his family's attendance at services. And despite all of that, when we had our conversation about him a couple of days ago, I learned so much more, so many aspects of his life I'd never had any idea about. Cheshbon HaNefesh. I would say that Jim was a true Renaissance man, but I'm not sure that term does him justice. Renaissance man certainly fits with the image of a broad spectrum of learning, and Jim had undergraduate degrees in theology, and medical records administration, and a master's in mathematics, which was really applied to information systems, IT. He made his career in hospital administration, chief of technology, later as a consultant. He taught for a while as an adjunct professor at Northeastern University. So many ways that he was a Renaissance man, and the term fits, but its connotations sound too subdued for the fuller account of Jim's many activities and interests. In fact, one of the first things that you said to me about Jim was that he was a man who exaggerated life. And by that you meant not just told a good story. I asked what you meant, and you said he was not only given to embellishing stories, but sometimes it was difficult to know which of the stories were true and which parts were not. Then you went on to describe the many activities and passions that he pursued, and it was clear that he didn't need to exaggerate very much. Backpacking, mountain biking, cross-country and downhill skiing, whitewater kayaking, fishing, canoeing, sailing, horseback riding, dancing, music. He played the guitar, the piano, the cello, the oboe. He was the president of the Jazz Coalition in Memphis, Tennessee for a time, and he loved blues and country and Western music. He enjoyed photography. He was a World War II history buff. He spent 3 summers as a park ranger at Glacier National Park, and he lived on that Blackfoot reservation. A man who exaggerated life? How much do you have to exaggerate when you do all of that? Renaissance man is way too subdued a term for that cheshbon hanefesh. Now, Jim's partner in so much of this was Ellen, and you've heard a bit of how they met. I wanted to pursue that story a little bit farther, and I heard about the personal ad that he had placed, but I required a little more explanation. And so you told me, Ellen, of standing in line at a checkout point in a grocery store when you picked up a copy of Boston Magazine, which you described as the equivalent of going online in those days. And there was that ad for a guy who liked outdoor activities and his dog, but found that he needed a better conversationalist in his life. And he said in the ad, "No poodles need apply." In your first conversation, you said you were planning a kayaking trip, and he said he had a kayak hanging from his ceiling, and the rest, as you have heard, is history. Married in 1990. Now, that first wedding was not a Jewish ceremony. That came later. But you know, in a Jewish ceremony, we wish the couple 7 blessings, Sheva brachot. Only one we repeat twice. We pray that the 2 people joined under the marriage canopy become Re'im Ahuvim, beloved companions. 35 years of marriage, sharing so many activities that you both loved, raising children, seeing them grow up, educated, finding partners, seeing Adam married to Caroline, and being thrilled at the birth of Violet, supporting each other through all of life's ups and downs, career changes, moves from Massachusetts to Pennsylvania to New Jersey. 35 years, blessing fulfilled. Re'im Ahuvim, beloved companions. When the kids described your relationship to me a couple of days ago, they said, he adored her. He adored you. Today is the first day of that month on the Jewish calendar that we announced on Shabbat. Today is the first day. The name of that month is Elul. Tradition interprets the Hebrew letters that spell the name of this month as an acronym. Elul. Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. Interpreted as standing for the words Ani lidodi, vidodi li. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. A passage from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs. Those are the words that brides traditionally recite in the marriage ceremony at the exchange of rings. Blessing fulfilled. Jim adored you, and you felt the same way about him. And it's clear that Jim adored his children as well. Ben, you were the first. You turned him into a father, a role he really enjoyed. He enjoyed that role with all of you. He delighted in bringing you onto as many activities, skiing for all of you, a 2-week canoe and fishing trip with Adam as a bar mitzvah present, kayaking, some, backpacking, not so much, except maybe Ariel, too many bugs, trips to Disney, Storybook Land, and a dude ranch, which was not a family favorite. He loved taking you shopping, even taking his girls to get their hair and nails done. He also liked to schlep you along doing errands. And maybe it was supposed to be a quick trip to pick up something, and it might include a stop for lunch at a deli where Jim would order liverwurst and onions on rye. But you might also end up sitting at an accountant appointment for 2 hours. In taking account of Jim's life, it's so clear that he added much to your lives. That is essential to his cheshbon hanefesh and to yours. And there's more. His favorite movies, documentaries, movies that became family favorites like Shrek or The Grinch, and family movie nights that included some that you said were probably inappropriate when you were young kids. The Sixth Sense, Jaws, Signs, The Exorcist. Maybe inappropriate, but certainly memorable, and good memories. An essential part of what both of your parents gave to all of you children is Judaism. We keep family files at TBS, and I have yours. Bar and bat mitzvah speeches, things that you wrote when you were 13 years old. I'm sure you'd find them entertaining. But it doesn't contain a compilation of all the services you attended together as a family. The kids' services with Mora Harriet and Mora Spector. The holiday services and celebrations. Nothing, of course, about the Passover Seders at home, probably Jim's favorite home ritual. He found ways to engage all of you in making it fun. Puppet shows depicting the 10 plagues, the custom of beating each other with scallions during the singing of Dayenu. I don't know too many who know that custom. The big show surrounding the Afikomen, the scavenger hunt for chametz by candlelight on the night before Passover. And there were always guests at the Seder. Sometimes you needed 3 tables even. Jim loved Judaism. Ellen too. They made it part of all of your lives because it was so important to them. And that's a critical part of the account of life we consider today. Cheshbon hanefesh. And what makes this all the more remarkable is that both Jim and Ellen came to Judaism in their adult years. And the conversion took place at Adugas Israel Synagogue in Hazleton under the guidance and friendship of Rabbi Raphael Miller. No cheshbon hanefesh for Jim, no understanding of what Judaism meant to him, would be complete without hearing his own words. Some of the speech that he gave to Agudas Israel at the time of his conversion. Now, I won't read all of it, just a few of the excerpts. Rabbi Miller suggested that I say a few words about being Jewish and what it means not only to me, myself, but my family as well. Simply put, it means everything. It means having a moral and ethical foundation to live one's life. But more importantly, it means giving my children a solid foundation and anchor, if you will, to a tradition that will serve them well as they face an even more challenging and complex world than we face today. I sincerely believe that is the greatest gift that I as a father can give my children. It means being part of a great people with a rich and significant history. It means observing traditions that have been practiced for thousands of years. It means following a theology that believes that all peoples of good faith that are moral, ethical, and righteous will reap the benefit of that behavior. It means adjusting the tempo and order of daily living to observe mitzvot by gaining a full understanding of God's commandments and maintaining a Jewish household. It means being socially responsible and charitable without expecting anything in return. It means focusing one's priorities around family life instead of oneself. It means being a member of a local congregation and getting involved with various activities of the entire Jewish community as well. I am proud to be a son of Abraham. And clearly, you are all proud of him, proud of all that he did in his life, all that he accomplished, all the many activities that brought so much joy to him and to you. He was proud of all of you, and you were proud of him. Cheshbon HaNefesh. Taking account of Jim's life, it's so clear that he lived fully and well. As a father, a husband, a grandfather, a friend, a professional, and as part of the Jewish people. And because of all of that, all that he brought to your lives, his memory will continue to be a blessing and an inspiration for all the days and the years to come. We rise for a final prayer. El malei rachamim shochen b'maromim hametzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina b'malot kedoshim utahorim kezohar harakia masidim et nihishmat Yaakov ben Avram v'Sara shalach lo lamo b'gan eden tei menuchato An abal rachamim hastireu beseta kenafecha la'olamim uhutzror b'yitzrachem et nishmato aronahu nachlato v'yanoch b'shalom hamishkavo v'nomar Amen. O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Jim Hauck, who has gone to his eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the kind, caring, and loving deeds that he performed in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal with you, O Lord, as it is bound in the bond of memory with all who are here today. You, O Lord, are his portion. May he rest in peace. And we say, Amen. Be seated for a moment. Just want to note that at the conclusion of services here, we'll be traveling to the cemetery at Crescent for the burial, and then the family will be returning home. They'll be observing Shiva at their home at 21 Old Orchard, and we'll welcome condolence callers tomorrow, Tuesday, throughout the day. For everything, there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to tear down and a time to build up.